Welcome to another edition of CEBL Weekly, your once-a-week rip around the Canadian Elite Basketball League. I'm your host, Sean Woodley. Thrilled to have you back here with me on CEBL Plus and the CEBL's YouTube channel. We've got another great show on tap for you as we'll highlight Montreal's own Kemi Osei a couple weeks into his tenure with the Hometown Alliance. Plus, we got the Power Rankings version 3.0 as they return with a new #1 on the list for the third consecutive week. Plus, we'll show you an interview between Savannah Hamilton and J. Cole. Never heard of him? All that, plus a busy week ahead of games to come. We'll run through the full schedule, but first, a quick word on the Canadian talent we've seen on display so far in the CEBL. It's been a bit of a slept-on element of the league here in the early going, with a killer crop of import talent, including Jalen Harris, Khalil Ahmad, Brandon Sampson, and more, and they're taking up a lot of the airspace in the headlines. But if you look at some of the league's most successful squads so far this year, the Canadian influence is undeniable. Take Edmonton, for example. 4 of their top 5 scorers are Canadian, as are 4 of their top 5 assist men. The Canadians they usually roll out from Jordan Baker, Brody Clark, Jamal Jones, Eher Uguak, Adika Peter McNeely, and Matthew Kamba comprise arguably the best assemblage of Canadian talent in the entire league, and they sport a 4-2 record. Fraser Valley is very Canada forward as well, with Murphy Bernatowski on a heater to open the year, leading the Bandits with north of 15 points a game on 50% shooting from downtown. You've got Thomas Kennedy averaging 10 points and 7 boards on the second best field goal percentage of any player in the CEBL. All the while, you've got the backcourt duo of Kadre Gray and Alex Campbell orchestrating most of every Bandits possession. Heading back east, you've got Kyle Alexander averaging a double-double for Scarborough, which you don't often see in the CEBL. You've got CEBL mainstay Shaq Keith leading all Canadians with 19.2 points a game and a league-best 2.8 steals for the Growlers. There's Devontae Bandu draining all sorts of triple for the Rattlers, AJ Lawson terrorizing opponents in transition for Guelph, and then you've got Caleb Agata, who has arguably been the most valuable player on the league's best team in Hamilton. The former Ottawa GG star is averaging 14 points, 6 boards, and 6 dimes a night, and he's first on the team in those 2 latter categories. And in the Honey Badgers' 21-point win over the Rattlers on Friday, Agata flirted with a triple-double, dropping 24 points on 15 shots to go along with 7 boards and 12 assists, firmly putting him in pole position to win this year's Canadian of the Year award. But of course, with this much homegrown talent across the board, top spot in that race figures to be fluid all season long. The idea that Montreal is a basketball-mad hotbed might be new to some uninitiated Canadian basketball fans. They are, of course, the town of the Montreal Canadiens, after all. But for Kemi Osei, who's made his return to Montreal this year to play for his hometown squad after playing 2 seasons with Saskatchewan in the CEBL, it's nothing new whatsoever. I caught up with Kemi Osei this week with the help of the Montreal Alliance video team to dig into what makes Montreal such a basketball-crazy city and the support that we see within the ranks of the players who come out of there, including the NBA guys we've seen courtside like Lou Dort and Chris Boucher. It's this week's Weekly Spotlight with Kemi Osei. Montreal Alliance guard Kemi Osei is no stranger to playing pro ball in Canada. Since graduating from the University of Little Rock back in 2017, Osse spent the entirety of his professional career playing in Canada, including his time spent with the Saskatchewan Rattlers during the 2020 Summer Series, and then again for 7 games in a challenging 2021 campaign out in Saski. Even through the struggles with the Rattlers, Osse says he's beyond thankful for the outlet the CEBL has offered to both homegrown talent and players from abroad alike.
I mean, it means the world to me to have a professional basketball team in Canada, and now more specifically one in Montreal. There's a team in Montreal, so it's just more than a blessing for all of us, not just me, but all Canadians in the country, and even guys outside the country coming here and giving it a chance. And it's a really good league, and I appreciate all the guys running it.
But something hit a little different for Osse when it was revealed that Montreal would be getting its very own CEBL team. For the Montreal native, it was pretty clear where the next step in his career was going to be the moment the expansion announcement came down.
Oh yeah, I already knew. Once I heard Montreal, I said that's definitely a place where I'd like to play in front of my family, my friends, and to help lead this team and this city win a championship. It's bigger than just me. It's for my family, the city, all these fans, the people working here with us. It's bigger than that. It's for the whole country, really.
He signed with the Alliance in the offseason. In the early going, is averaging a tidy 9 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists, and even drained the first ever Elam ending winner in franchise history. Made all the more special by the fact that he's serving as a team co-captain with Ernst LaRoche, another Montrealer, who spent time playing over in Hungary, the UK, Czechia, Argentina, France, and Switzerland over the last decade.
It means a lot to be able to lead the team in my hometown. With the help of Ernst, somebody that I've known since I was a kid. It's just a blessing for us, and it's a great opportunity.
You won't find many dudes more proud of the hoops tradition that is starting to be built in Montreal than Osse, who says the courtside appearances from local-born NBA players like Chris Boucher and Lou Dort at Alliance games only signals the arrival of Montreal as a widely regarded basketball hub.
That means Quebec is on the come up, man, especially Montreal. We've been producing pros lately, and they're supporting us, and I hope to see them in more games.
So for the uninitiated, what should someone expect to see from the usual Montreal-born hooper? Osse says there's one trait that bonds most every player coming out of Canada's second largest city.
Toughness. It's really toughness. Playground basketball, man. We got a lot of tough players. We play hard and we just go get it. We're a hard-working team. We play defense. We're scrappy. We play like Montreal players, like the Lou Dorts, the Ben Maturins, Chris, Cam. When you watch them play, they got grit, they got toughness, they got heart, and that's what we produce here.
And as far as Osse's goals for his first season playing at home, well, that's a pretty easy one to answer.
I want a championship here. I've been saying that the whole preseason. I want to bring a championship to Montreal. That's the ultimate goal.
It's time now for my favorite segment of the week, and judging by the responses on socials, it's your favorite segment too. It's the Power Rankings, baby. We've got all 10 teams lined up with a brand new number one sliding in this week, and frankly, I was shocked to see most people agreed with last week's rankings. The only person I got some guff from was an assistant coach with Hamilton who was a little bit miffed about the number 2 slot. Will that be resolved this week? We'll find out. Let's start with number 10, the Newfoundland Growlers, who are still winless now, stuck at 0-5 at the time of recording, but they're getting so close to that elusive first victory. 2 of their last 3 losses have come by just a single point, and a couple bounces go their way, and they're in the messy middle of the standings, no problem. In 9th, we have the Ottawa Blackjacks. Look, my belief in their top-end talent was shaken a little this week as Blackjacks star Deng Adel had to exit Ottawa's loss in Guelph due to a shoulder injury this past week. But here's hoping 7 days off between games is all Adel needs to get right. Ottawa's now 2 wins behind the 8th place Alliance, and while they have free passes to championship weekend as this year's hosts, the Blackjacks have to be hoping for better fortune in the second quarter of their schedule as they sit at 1-4. In 8th, we have the Montreal Alliance, and you can put the next 3 teams in any order you like, really. There's not a whole lot separating them. 3 and 4 Montreal takes up the 8th spot here because they're a little lighter in terms of known commodities in the teams just in front of them. Import Dominic Green is averaging just 11.2 points since his 36-point outburst in the second game of the season. Which version of Green is the real one? Or who can we count on for the rest of the season? That's a big question for Montreal to answer. And then there's the new arrival, British veteran Ashley Hamilton, who's been great in 2 games so far. Is he the injection of talent Montreal needs? More than any other team, I feel like we're still getting to know Montreal. Good luck predicting where they'll slot into next week's rankings. They were number 4 just a week ago. In number 7, we have the Scarborough Shooting Stars, who have won 2 straight games to get back to 500. But to make a real push for the top, they're going to need more efficiency from Jalen Harris. Harris is scoring, no doubt, averaging almost 21 a game, but he's requiring nearly 19 shots a game to get there with some pretty rough shooting splits. 39% from the floor, 27% from deep. With more turnovers than assists, if Harris can find his stroke a little more regularly and start to leverage his obvious gravity into good looks for others more reliably, Scarborough could take off. If not, their upside is probably capped around the 500 range. In 6th, we have the Guelph Nighthawks, who seem to be finding themselves, and they're doing so in exactly the way you might expect, by running down other teams' throats. Kat Barber, Ahmed Hill, AJ Lawson, and Sean Miller-Moore in particular have been the orchestrators of what is probably the best transition attack in the CEBL. Over their last 2 wins against Ottawa and Montreal, Guelph has a 57-22 edge in transition points. These dudes are fast. In number 5, we have the Fraser Valley Bandits, who sat idle this past week since the last ranking, so nothing new to really report here. A trio of games against Edmonton, Scarborough, and Guelph this week should offer a really nice test of where the Bandits are in their progression as a group. In 4th, we have the big risers of the week, the Saskatchewan Rattlers, and welcome to the MVP race, Tony Carr. We've been sort of waiting for a clear MVP frontrunner to reveal themselves, and over the weekend, the former Penn State star staked his claim. He was instrumental in the Rattlers' comeback win over Niagara on Sunday, scoring or setting up all but 2 of the 16 points Saski scored in Elam time, including a gorgeous behind-the-back dish on Malik Ben-Levy's game winner. All told, Carr finished the afternoon with 25 points, 7 boards, and 7 assists, boosting his season averages up to 25 and 6. The Rattlers now have more wins in 6 games this year than they had in 20 combined games over the previous 2 seasons. More like Sask's Bakchuan. Am I right? In 3rd, we have Niagara. I still fully believe in the talent the River Lions have on hand. Khalil Ahmad is as slippery a guard as there is in the league. EJ Onu's block totals are frankly ridiculous, and there really isn't a weak link in Vic Razzo's rotation. But this team needs to figure out its stuff in Elam time. Niagara has outscored its opponent in just 1 of 7 fourth quarters this year. Last Monday, they held a 6-point lead over Edmonton going into Elam time. They lost by 2. Against Newfoundland on Wednesday, a 9-point advantage dried up to just 1 point before they finally closed out the Growlers. And then on Sunday, against the Rattlers and Tony Carr, Niagara blew a 17-point fourth quarter lead, took a 7-point edge into Elam ending, and got blitzed 16-4 by the Rattlers with the clock shut off to lose the game. Not ideal. Number 2, we have the Edmonton Stingers, and they're 0-1 since the last time we assembled the rankings, but they move up a spot thanks to an uneven week from the Niagara River Lions and the arrival of a pair of Stingers staples, Matthew Kamba, who for my money has been the best CEBL wing defender over the last 3 seasons, and the CEBL's dunk king himself, Marlon Johnson. A deep team got deeper this week. Edmonton's a comfortable number 2 in the rankings. And in number 1, it is of course the 6-1 Hamilton Honey Badgers. It's a no-brainer this week. Hamilton's won 5 straight games to move them into sole possession of first overall, and their only loss of the season, it was by just a single point at the hands of the Bandits during opening week. We've already talked about how great Caleb Agada has been, while star imports like Christian Vital and Jeremiah Tillman Jr. give the Badgers one of the best high-volume shooters and one of the best all-around big men in the entire CEBL, respectively. There's a world in which Hamilton hangs on to this spot until the end of the year. They're playing that well. And that does it for this week's Power Rankings. We'll see ya in 7 days, where you can get mad at me all over again. The J. Cole experience in the CEBL has undeniably been a win for the league. His time spent in Scarborough has come with massive crowds and ticket sales, more eyeballs on games than ever before, and just a whole lot of fun watching this very famous dude try to hack it as a pro ball player. His time in the CEBL is on pause for now as he heads on tour, but there's still the possibility he could return later in the season as he'll remain on the 14-man roster for Scarborough all through his time away. Savannah Hamilton, sideline reporter for the Shooting Stars in the CEBL, sat down with J. Cole to talk about his time in the CEBL so far, what he's learned about Scarborough, and so much more. Here's the chat with Savannah and J. Cole.
All right, Cole. Let's talk about it. How has your season been so far? I know that it's a little unclear right now. You're about to go on tour. If you'll be back yet. But how has your experience in the CEBL been?
Man, it's been phenomenal. I was just telling the guys in there, I'm going for these shows. I'm not sure if I'll be back, but just in case, I had to let them know how incredible this was. The players, the coaching staff, the organization, the league. It's a crazy thing when you see it on paper. It's like what's actually happening, and they made me feel so welcome. You know what I mean? Really feeling like a part of a team. Everybody embraced me. Everybody, nerves. They help settle nerves and talk me through and teach me. And I'm just on a team with a bunch of amazing guys, so I appreciate them for that. Coaching staff, players, and in the league. You know what I mean? It's priceless what they're allowing me to come in here and do and experience. So I really appreciate it.
Now, when we talked earlier, you mentioned to me that there was kind of 2 levels of success for you in playing pro basketball. One was actually just getting out there and doing it. Another one was feeling yourself, feeling like yourself when you're playing. Tonight you dropped 6 points, 2 threes. You got a little step back.
Career high 6. No doubt.
Do you feel like you reached that level of success for yourself?
I feel like One was, like you said, just getting out here with success. Like the training it took to like get here and like play at a professional level. These guys in this league are like are elite. It's elite talent here. So to be able to be on the floor with them, be in shape, and come out here, that was success. One, like we talked about, but on the second side, being able to be who I've shown myself I'm capable to be. I maybe had a couple spurts of that, but it's a lot. You know, there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot of reps that I haven't got. So I'm not gonna say I checked that box completely, but moments like tonight, you know what I mean? Like, first of all, it feels good to get a win. We needed that win. It feels good to see the team like chemistry like on a high, and then of course like to be able to contribute to that a little bit felt good. So like there's a little spurts, but nah, I feel like you know, if I didn't go no further, I would still be like, yo, I never got to the paint. You know what I mean? Little things where it's like, yo, I would love to see myself do. But just the chance to be able to go out and do that, like for a whole training camp and then 4 games, it was crazy. It was 4 games or 5 games for us. Like it's 4 games for us. So like, you know, that was priceless to be able to do that. Also, I want to say thank you to the fans, the people of first of all, Canada, Toronto, and specifically Scarborough, because like being in the city for now, you know, 4 weeks, however long it's been, it's like the amount of like excitement that people show and like pride they show, like they're happy that I'm here. I appreciate that. They're like excited for basketball in Canada and specifically Toronto. There's so much pride in Toronto, but Scarborough, like I got to shout out the people of Scarborough, because, you know, coming from America, it's like I didn't really know. So I've learned so much that, you know, the people there feel seen with this basketball team and with this league highlighting them. The people there feel seen, and like, and I'm assuming that wasn't always the case and not always the case. So it's like I'm proud to be able to like add something to Canada and to this talent that's in Canada. And it's just you know, those guys are like incredible. So to be able to like get some extra eyes on them is a pleasure. And shout out to Scarborough, shout out to Toronto, shout out Canada. For real.
That's amazing. Yo, I think the Scarborough mans have adopted you here, right?
Word up, for sure, for sure. I'm not good with my lingo. Every now and then I might break it out, but it was cool hearing everybody talk every day. I'm digging like Toronto slang is dope.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your time here, Cole. Good luck on tour. I hope to see you back.
Yeah.
But you know, it's been a pleasure.
I appreciate that, man. Thank y'all. Peace.
Not much left to do this week except to get you primed for the week that lies ahead in the CEBL, beginning with my game of the week. The one game that I think is absolute must-watch appointment viewing, and it goes down on Sunday in Guelph as the Hamilton Honey Badgers visit the Nighthawks in what should be an awesome game between the hottest team in the league and a team that looks like it's kind of rounding into form here after a bit of a tough start. You've got the high-flying transition attack of Guelph. You've got Hamilton and their all-encompassing from all directions attack. It's going to be a ton of fun. And, of course, there's the extra added element that the Guelph Nighthawks are 0-10 against Hamilton in these franchises' history over the course of the last 3+ years. Should be a great one on Father's Day, Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern on CEBL Plus CBC Gym. Or if you want to get tickets, go to the nighthawks.ca to take it all in. Now, in an ideal world, you're not just watching the game of the week, you're watching all of the games in the CEBL over the course of each 7-day period, and there are 12 of them to dig into for you over the course of the next week. Let's run through them right now in our weekly calendar check. The week kicks off with a bang as it's a triple header on Wednesday night for you to whet your appetite with. First up, it's the Montreal Alliance hosting the Niagara River Lions at the Verdun Auditorium. That one goes down at 7:30 Eastern. Then at 9 Eastern Time, 7 Mountain, it is the Edmonton Stingers taking on the Fraser Valley Bandits in a battle of Western rivals. And that's followed up at 9:30 by the rolling Saskatchewan Rattlers taking on the Scarborough Shooting Stars at SaskTel Center. You're going to want to have multiple screens going on Wednesday night. Then on Thursday, it's another doubleheader. This time it's the Hamilton Honey Badgers hosting the Newfoundland Growlers as they complete their tour of Southern Ontario. That one is followed closely at 7:30 by the Ottawa Blackjacks rematching with the Guelph Nighthawks after Guelph beat them in Guelph last week. This one's at TD Place in Ottawa. Then on Friday, just one game as the Saskatchewan Rattlers host the Edmonton Stingers in what should be a great game of contrasting styles and team-building philosophies. Then on Saturday, it's another pair of games for you to dig into as the River Lions host the Blackjacks at 7 p.m. Eastern. Then at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, it's the Fraser Valley Bandits hosting the Scarborough Shooting Stars who continue their tour out west. Then it's the Guelph Nighthawks hosting the Hamilton Honey Badgers in that Father's Day game on Sunday, before giving way on Monday to the Montreal Alliance hosting the Edmonton Stingers at Verdun Auditorium at 7:30 Eastern. And then a pair of games to close out the week on Tuesday, the Nighthawks hosting the Fraser Valley Bandits and the Ottawa Blackjacks taking on the Niagara River Lions at TD Place. That one gets rolling at 7:30 p.m. And now you're set. You've got all you need for the next week. Mark your calendars accordingly. And that puts a bow on another edition of CEBL Weekly. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. In case you missed it, CEBL Mobile, the official app of the CEBL, is now available for all iOS and Android devices. You can download now to follow your favorite teams, players, get stats, info on tickets, and of course, watch every game for free. Also, don't forget to follow us at CEB League on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for all the latest news, updates, and honestly, some pretty amazing content as well. CEBL Championship Weekend is also headed to our nation's capital on August 10th to the 14th, and tournament packs are now on sale. Get your tickets at CEBL.ca before they're all gone. For more information, head to CEBL.ca. And for Director Jamie Tan and Editor Sherry Arsakit, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you again next week.